Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Healthcare Heroes, where we recognize our dedicated frontline staff and managers. I'm Sandy Potter, joining you once again from my home studio. And today, once again, I'm with Masonicare President and CEO, JP Venoit, and a trio of our wonderful colleagues from Masonicare at Chester Village. We have Boo, our activities manager, John, our facilities manager, and Chef Matt, our director of dining services there in Chester. Thank you all so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
This is wonderful. You know, the motto in Chester has always been teamwork. I mean, that's what you are all about. And perhaps that's never been more true than in the last several months during the COVID-19 pandemic. Can you tell us how you all came together along with your coworkers and you really had to respond quickly to the changing needs of the residents when it became clear that we needed to go into a situation of quarantine and social distancing?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go. First and foremost, I think it was the safety, for residents and staff. Quickly we found out who our core group of staff that, are responsible for, knowing the importance of, following the rules and regulations, because we have a greater need than just feeding the residents, keeping them safe throughout the community. So, and I think, what we did is first couple days is just try to get them as much food and things that they need so they don't have to leave the community. And then, shortly after that, we were able to provide the 3 meals that we provided before the pandemic, but in a slightly altered service. So it worked out well.
I would say that I want to give kudos to our executive director, Annie Hefferly, because she made the wise choice to shut us down pretty early, really pretty early, and has been very wise about how slowly we've opened up. And in the meantime, we've just adapted, readapted, flexible, changed up what we normally do. That's been for all of us. And I would say between John helping me with the technical equipment and having to learn Zoom, which I'd never heard about until about a month before COVID hit. I never heard one blessed thing about Zoom. And to Matt and I running around with ice cream, going door to door, and just changing up what our usual method of operation is to doing sort of this altered version of reality, basically. But everybody's pitched in and just done a tremendous job.
I think Boo pretty much summed that up. It's, everybody adapted every day. I know the departments that I work with, the staff that I work with, they were amazing. Things were changing sometimes, but in the morning, and then maybe at lunch, it changed again. So a big kudos to them. They worked hard, and they were very receptive to all the changes that were made.
And I know the residents there. Thank you all so much for everything that you've done for them. And JP, this is truly teamwork at its best.
But we already knew we had great leadership at Chester, from the executive director to John, Boo, and Matt, and really the rest of the staff that are there. We already knew how good they were. But when the crisis came, they were able to shine even more brightly, if you will. And it was really due to the 3 individuals right here on their leadership and adapting to the change. Boo kind of said it earlier, they had to change. John also talked about the change happening on a routine basis. I have in my office, never be afraid of change, be afraid of not changing. And if you think about it, during the pandemic, everything was changed. But you needed leaders, you needed people that could adapt to those changes, but also quail the anxiety or stress level of the staff and the residents. And, looking at the Facebook, our page or some of the other social media and seeing what was being done at Chester Village was just truly amazing. The line dancing, the social hours, virtual social hours, or some of the other things that you were doing, you could see the smiles in our residents' face. And that's ultimately what we're here for. But I can't tell you how proud I am of the leadership of Chester Village and all the staff for everything that they did. And for the residents to really still be able to adapt to that change that's happened. We're not done with this pandemic. We still have more that is out there, but I am so confident in everything that they're doing. And as I said earlier, that change that has happened on a regular basis, they've been able to adapt with such precision and ability to keep our residents safe. And I thank you for all your leadership.
Thank you.
Thanks. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
But let's try not to have too much pleasure in that, though.
No.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for sharing time with us today and for everything that you've done, all your dedication and your enthusiasm toward the residents there. I know it's so appreciated by them and by all of us as well. We're all very lucky to have you, and you are definitely, as JP always says, Masonicare strong.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for watching at home. I'm Sandy Potter, and we hope you'll join us next week for another edition of Healthcare Heroes. Until then, be well.